Shalom. Hold on a second. I have to check the microphone. See if it's up. Yeah, it is. Okay. Shalom. My name is Yehoshua Ya'acov from Jerusalem. I'm making this video to respond and comment upon Vice President Richard Cheney. Sometimes with the lack of restraint functioning as President Cheney. Having said that, let's get to Talkless. He's a very complex man and a complex personality. Also the product of exile of man and mankind, which has now ended, though this is not something that Mr. Cheney is aware of. Okay, having said that, here is a man who got it absolutely 100% correct in 1994. His assessment of the problems in Iraq were absolutely and unequivocally against the subsequent actions of the invasion of Iraq and the resulting war. After driving, beginning the invasion of Iraq on February 26th, with Bush's father driving Saddam out of Kuwait, that was the beginning of the invasion of Iraq that was executed on March 17th, 2003. What happened in between? What happened from Cheney's? If you look at the videos and you listen to Cheney, he is absolutely brilliant in his articulation. He's got it right. Then something happens along the way, and this is life, unfortunately. 4,000 boys are no longer with us as a result of this tragedy of man and mankind's exile, and Dick Cheney is no exception to the rule. We had 9/11 and the heightened sensitivities, the anger, the emotion of the day. But once again, a second time, Cheney's articulations, despite all of his detractors, there is nobody who has more cause and more reason to criticize and to demean and to ridicule Dick Cheney than Yehoshua Ya'acov ben Avraham, formerly Michael O'Donnell, an American citizen, who he sold out and left for dead on the battlefield, a wounded expatriate fighting and defending American strategic interests, was sold out by none other than Dick Cheney. That's to be commented upon at another time, and but right now let's get to the more important and the larger picture, because it's not about me. And it is about what America and Americans need from their leaders. Now, Dick Cheney got it right a second time. In 1994, he assessed strategically the situation in Iraq correctly, and he said, stay out. The bottom line was, we'll have nothing to do with invading Iraq. We'll take all of the prophylactic steps to prevent harm to us. And then came 9/11. And everything changed. But let's understand something that comes from the Bible. We learn in the Bible that what a man is outwardly, ultimately his heart will be drawn after it. And that's the story of the complex personality of Mr. Richard Cheney. When he speaks correctly, and he ultimately ends up acting against this inherent implicit and explicit absolute truth, and yet the behavior is contradicted completely years later. These are complex questions. Well, it's very actually simple to comprehend and understand, and it is this. You know, who is Dick Cheney? Where did he come from? Halliburton's chief executive officer. And hell, if 9/11 comes along and these whacked out extremists, Osama bin Laden and his terrorists, fly planes into America, the Pentagon, into the World Trade Center and kill 3,000 people, we are going into Iraq. That's it. And we haven't a doubt. We haven't got any proof. We have no smoking gun. We haven't a doubt that Osama bin Laden was bankrolled by Saddam Hussein. Once again, Cheney got it right. That is correct. And the God of Israel doesn't lie. Cheney got it right. So come on, folks. You want to tear him down? You want to kick his backside? You have my blessing. But he got it right. Now, what do? He goes in and he pushes. Well, now wait a minute. You want to he exaggerated weapons of mass destruction. He should be impeached. He manipulated intelligence. Probably true. Having said that, let's repeat the thing that he got right is that Osama bin Laden was bought and paid for by none other than Saddam Hussein. And the mistake that derives from that is the invasion of Iraq. Now, let's focus like a laser. Halliburton in 2007 reported record revenues of $15.3 billion. And hold on to your hats, folks. They reported also record net profits of $3.5 billion on $15.3 billion of revenue. And if my arithmetic is correct, folks, that's 22.87% net return. Something is pretty smelly and corrupt in the Pentagon and in Washington when a Kablan, the biggest Kablan in Iraq, Halliburton, which is the former employer of Dick Cheney, is dragging $3.5 billion into its pockets. So come on, this is the difference. He would never be my vice president. And I'm sure he would never be Senator Barack Obama's vice president, but he certainly was George Bush's vice president. And where did George get the idea for this guy as a vice president? From his father. And these guys know how to double dip in the U.S. Treasury. And if you want a scenario that really indicts and smacks of corruption and foulness and conflict of interest, and it stinks to high heaven, this is it. So you want to impeach him? Go get him, guys. Okay? He's made every mistake, but let's do it with the facts and with accuracy. He got it right about Saddam Hussein. He got his assessment was right in 1994 about Iraq. So now, having said that, I'm going to comment at the very end of this video. I'm Yehoshua Ya'acov ben Avraham, I said, formerly Michael O'Donnell. When I came to Israel in 1987, I saw some things that were absolutely wrong. Another Pollard in the making. I'm a world-class didactic scientist. I opposed it. I was attacked. And I blew the whistle and sent it to Cheney. None other than, I sent it to Tennant. And George Tennant, like a good little boy, ran over to Dick Cheney and said, oh, look at this terrible thing that this whistleblower is telling us about Yehoshua ben Avraham in Jerusalem. And Cheney said, hey, don't bother me. We got a re-election, and this is going to turn into a quagmire, another Pollard fiasco. Squash it. So here was this expat fighting, left for dead, bleeding, wounded mortally on the battlefield, defending strategic intellectual property assets and rights of the United States, and old tricky Dick Cheney sold him out. That's me, folks. And so if anybody has cause to be angry and to be I don't hate him. I'm not angry. Look, he did this to himself. He's an angry little boy with a Kill Daddy program, and somebody's got to tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, Dick, George Bush ain't your daddy, and you need help. Go get a shrink, and you got lots of money from your profits from Halliburton shares, despite whether the fact that they're in trust. Get yourself some help. But in the meantime, tuckless. Dick Cheney has to be taken on face value for what is good and decent about him, and correct and right. Bush is a bumpkin, and he's no more a president of the United States than the man in the moon. And his father said, get Cheney to run the White House. So what we've had is 8 years of President Cheney. And, he's in exile also, and he's fallen down on his face. And it cost us 4,000 of our beautiful children's lives. And this is my big issue with him. And what happened with me is small change. It cost us and our family a lot of money, but okay, so what can we do? It all comes from God. Now, for the positive, we bless you, Richard Cheney from Yerushalayim, Kabel B'Shvilatet. I'm Yehoshua Ya'acov ben Avraham. Thank you for listening. And now you've got some tachlis. You've got some real bottom line information. Thank you. And thank you for listening. Shalom from Yerushalayim. I'm Yehoshua Ya'acov.